I don't know, Lex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, it's basically nighttime, so I've got myself on speed mode here. I don't feel I don't see the point of standing around at night doing nothing. I need to make some torches for in here. So I often animal fat cloth. Oh, I hate to waste my animal fat. So what I usually do is I change the speed on the game down to 10 minutes. And let's make 3 of these, I guess. And then I'll let it run through the night, and then switch it back out to the, I think, 2-hour time for a day. That way I get long days and short nights. So I did, and I just recorded, and I looked at the clock, and I had talked for an hour. So I deleted that. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try again to be a little shorter. Apparently those two things I had a lot to say about, and so we'll try to. Oh, yep, I want to get these. Out here, I would like some light in my building. There we go. I got some nice light in here. Spoilers. I saw a trailer for The Long Walk, which is a new movie coming out based on a Stephen King novel. And I was like, huh, he wrote a new novel that they making a book out of, or a movie out of, and I haven't read it. Crazy. And so I Googled it, and I'm like, whoa, this book is really old, and I've never read it. And I'm like, oh, because it's not technically Stephen King. It's Richard Bachman, which is his pseudonym, and his nom de plume. And yeah, I haven't really read a lot of Bachman books. I mostly stuck to his Stephen King stuff because I felt like the Bachman books were less about horror than the main Stephen King books. It might not be, I guess, after reading The Long Walk. But I was pleasantly surprised, not by the content of said book, because the story is mid. But I really love the Dark Tower series, and so one of the things that had happened to Stephen King was he started to write the Dark Tower. I don't know if he started to write it before this book, but he did start to write the Dark Tower as one of the first books he had ever started writing. And he would put it down and then write other books. And then he would come back to the Dark Tower book, according to him, later, and then he would start writing in it some more, and then he'd put it down. And so what happened was the concepts from the Dark Tower series actually bleed into most of his books. And so when you read his books and you read the Dark Tower series, you'll notice that here and there are crossover moments. Not like scenes, but there'll be like, for example, in The Stand, everybody gets sick from the super flu, and they call it Captain Trips, I think. Is it Captain Trips? It's something like that. I swear I saw a deer. Can I stalk up on this deer and get it with my spear? I don't think I can kill it with one hit. Oh, he saw me. Um, and so then, in the Dark Tower series, this is, I guess, the opposite way. In the Dark Tower series, you come across, they actually go through that world, because the Dark Tower is a multi-universe jumping kind of story. Um, but you read some other things, and it seems like Carrie, for example, one of his early books, it seems like her father is the Man in Black, and the Man in Black is Randall Flagg, who is the bad guy from The Stand. Um, and so Randall Flagg is also the bad guy in the Dark Tower. And so he comes from the Dark Tower, and because he started writing the Dark Tower first, and so that's the kind of stuff. There'd be just little snippets here and there, just concepts or people who cross over into other stories, and uh, and uh, so I'm reading the Long Walk. So the Long Walk, spoilers, is a story about people taking a long walk. It's kind of like a Running Man meets Hunger Games kind of thing. Stephen King wrote The Running Man. And so the Long Walk is whatever happened to this world, it's not normal. And there's a guy named the Major who rules most of the world, and or at least the part of the world that this book takes place in. And he once a year they have a contest where you sign up, you take a test, it's voluntary. You got to take a test, psychological test, a physical test, an intelligence test. There's like three different things that you had to test to see if you were fit to take part in the Long Walk. And they this is gonna get me dead. Oh. This guy seems really tall. Now he's just really dead. Um, and so they take 100 18-year-old men, boys, whatever, and they line them up, and then they have them walk until only one's left alive. That's it. That's the whole shebang. And so you get three warnings. Nice. I've unlocked some recipes. That's awesome. And you get three warnings, and after the third warning, they will shoot you if you don't keep walking. You have to walk at a specific speed. In the book, it's 4 miles an hour. In the movie, they said it was 3 miles an hour. 4 miles an hour is pretty fast for a walk. You can't sleep. You can't stop. They give you food. They give you all the water you want while you're walking. They just, they got scanners to tell how fast you're walking. And And so I take this back to my place. Put some camping chairs up on the roof. And so yeah, that's the basis for the story. They and so follows this one character who's on the long walk, and and they just follow him as he walks. And they put him in groups of 10. So it's 10 rows of 10, and then they start walking. And as they, oh, I was crouched. No wonder why that guy was tall. I crouched chasing that deer, and I never stood back up. Whoops. And I just came right back to where I was before. And so, yeah, this stuff in there that was like the Dark Tower. One, they said the general doesn't sleep, and that he wears silvery sunglasses that he never takes off. So that seemed weird. I don't know if that really relates to Dark Tower, but it seemed weird enough to me to be Dark Tower related. I know that one's kind of weak. And then one of the characters puts on a raincoat, a yellow raincoat, and it said that the yellow raincoat made his face look ghoulish, which distinctly reminded me of the Lowmen in yellow coats from one of the Dark Tower stories. And so that seemed very Dark Towery to me. Again, not maybe necessarily the strongest, because I don't think that person was a low man in a yellow coat, but the concept was definitely there. They mentioned 51 states, which they never explained. That was the one thing I didn't like about the story, was they didn't really explain anything. So I don't know what happened to the world. I don't know why the long walk exists. They don't ever say why they do the long walk. They feed them. They give them like crackers and peanut butter and tubes of, tubey foods. Like a tube of meat paste or a tube of tuna fish paste, stuff like that. They did talk about people eating MREs. So I don't know, maybe there's no food. I don't know. They really don't explain what's going on in the world. So that was weird. 51 states, not really a Dark Tower thing. But, and here's the two that are the most powerful. They mentioned that the world changed, and then the troubles started. And that is a central Dark Tower thing. In the Dark Tower, they often call that the world has moved on. And so this world has definitely moved on. In the Dark Tower mythos, or I don't know what you call it, the mythos, the Dark Tower, I would say mythos. There's the Dark Tower, and I feel like I've been in here already. And everything connects to the Dark Tower. Every world in the multiverse connects to the Dark Tower. And so they also say all things serve the beam. And so there's like a beam that connects your universe, your world, to the Dark Tower. And so when that gets disrupted or corrupted, then your world starts to fall apart. In the Gunslinger, is the first book of the Dark Tower series called The Gunslinger? I think it is. That was one of the other ones. The main character went to tell a story of Lancelot, and he screwed it up, but the way he told it was about a white knight who walks the land after the bad guy. And they're like, are you talking about Lancelot? He rides a horse. And he's like, fine, he rides a horse. Like, ooh, they're talking about Roland of Gilead. Roland is a knight although he carries pistols. And I want in this Shotgun Messiah. He, I want to mark this Shotgun Messiah on my map. Guns. Um, but yeah. So when Roland and the gunslinger goes after the man in black, uh, Randall Flagg, he goes into a desert, and the desert is like a 3 day walk or something like that to get across, or it's like 100 miles or something. I don't remember the exact length. But because Roland's world has moved on, geez, this place is a fort. Um, Distances don't work anymore, and so it takes him like 100 years to walk across a desert, and he doesn't age or anything because his world has fallen apart. And so, uh, um, and so that's what a change means in the Dark Tower mythos. And so, it really feels to me like this book was uh, pulling on those ideas. But then at the very end of the book, the main character, when they try to stop him when he's running or when he's walking at the end of the book, and he shrugs them off because all he can see is the man in black waiting for him. And so I'm sure the concept was supposed to be death, but it I mean, the man in black is a character who shows up repeatedly throughout the Stephen King books. And so, I like to think that he was referencing Randall Flagg. And yeah. So it was okay story, but it's really just a bunch of teenage boys walking until they get shot one by one, until there's only one left, and so they just kind of. Oh, I thought that was a box. That's not a box. That's bricks. Oh, well, we'll be here an hour while I crack this open. And yeah, so it was okay. But really, they just sit, or they don't sit. They walk and they talk about their lives, and then they get more and more tired and injured and sore, and um, go crazy from the exhaustion because they're not allowed to sleep. Um, Not allowed to leave the road. Uh, you know. Uh, but I think they walk for they don't walk very far in my opinion. I mean, it's farther than I could probably walk, but I feel like they only walk a couple 100 miles. I mean, it's a long way, I guess, without sleeping. But it just, in my mind, it doesn't seem like something where you'd walk yourself to death. It seems quick to me, is what I mean. But again, I guess not sleeping for a few days will probably do you in. They're walking 4 miles an hour. Yeah, if they're walking 4 miles an hour, that's what? Almost 100 miles a day. Oh, that was my thing cracking up. I'm not sure how far they walked in the book. I didn't think they'd walked almost 500 miles. Because I think they make it to day 5, so a little over 400 miles. I don't know. I'll have to look again. But it was all right. I don't know. The other thing I want to talk about, I will watch the movie when it comes out. I like Stephen King. This was a decent book, It wasn't great. It wasn't amazing, but it was an enjoyable read. Uh, okay, I don't want to I don't want to say I didn't like it. I did like it. I don't know that I'll ever reread it. Right? It's not like good like The Stand or Carrie or something or Tommy Knockers. Um, it was okay. It was just a bunch of people talking, and then they slowly die off one by one as the story goes. You know. The other thing I watched today, twice unfortunately. I watched it, and then I told my nephew about it, and he's got some friends over, and so then they had to watch it too. Was I saw a trailer for when I saw a trailer for The Long Walk. I also saw a trailer for the new Amazon Prime War of the Worlds. I love War of the Worlds. I love it a lot. It's one of my favorite stories of all time. I've read the book multiple times. When I was a kid, I loved the 1953 movie. I've listened to the radio play multiple times. I've listened to the musical a couple of times. I used to play the video game all the time. They had an old RTS that had the music from the musical in it. Really fun RTS game where it takes place in England because that's where the original book takes place, and England is split into these different sections, and so it's a war between you and the aliens, and you have to build up your technologies to be able to fight back against the aliens, and you have to gain supplies to build your technologies and your new tanks and troops and stuff. And the aliens are pushing back, so they're slowly converting the different sections of England into the Martian red grass areas. And so some human technologies don't work where there's red grass, and some alien technologies don't work if there's not red grass, kind of thing. And you can play either side, so you can play as the aliens or you can play as the humans. They both have some upgrades and stuff that happen as the game goes through. It was a really good RTS, in my opinion. And but yeah, so I really like War of the Worlds, and so I see the trailer and I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be the worst War of the Worlds I've ever seen. The worst. There's no way it can't be. And yeah, sure enough, I sat down and I watched it today, and it's bad. Like the first 40 minutes of it is not good. But the last hour of it is downright one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Let me check something here. Um, yeah. I'm terrible with names. I couldn't remember what the guy's name was. So, Ice Cube stars in this movie, and I like Ice Cube. This might be one of the worst performances I've ever seen him do. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the movie was filmed separately for each of the actors. It kind of feels like, in parts, they never actually talk to each other. And the whole movie takes place in Teams video conference calls and cell phone FaceTime videos. The whole movie. And so Ice Cube is like a DHS. Oh shoot! You know what? I didn't close it, but I hid my other window. There we go. The whole movie. Well, Ice Cube is like a DHS guy, and he stalks his children using his surveillance software that he has access to from work. And so he's stalking them, and then the aliens invade. And once the aliens invade, then he has to, do his actual job and give them information, because he's kind of like he's the Department of Homeland Security, and so his job is to coordinate all the different organizations. Well, you know what? He only really talks to like 3 people, so I don't know. Oh, there's a box way up there. Um, so he talks to a woman from NASA, and he talks to his boss, and he talks to a field agent, and he talks to somebody who works with the president, and secretary of something. I don't remember what the guy was secretary of, and then his kids, and then his daughter's boyfriend. And I think that's pretty much it that he talks to through the whole movie. And so he does it all from his computer and his phone. And so basically what happens is the aliens invade. The field agent dies, and his son turns out to be this hacker he's been looking for, as his job to hunt down terrorist threats to the United States. His son is one of those threats. And the aliens have attacked Earth because they eat data. Oh no, I've got no room. What is this? This is coffee. Who cares then? Stop giving me knuckle wraps. I'm not going to use them. I've gotten so many knuckle wraps now, it's ridiculous. I do want this, though. Clay can go. That's easy enough to get. I probably don't need chrysanthemum seeds, because I like the aloe. Look, knuckle wraps again. Oh, I missed the door. Okay, apparently there are people outside trying to come in now, so... I do want this. I need those rocks. You know what? I probably can get away without this. I probably don't need those. But I probably do need these pipes. I guess I can get rid of bones. Don't need clay. Take metal. So yeah, it was just, I probably should make sure this stuff is off the shelf so it can... I don't know if it respawns or not, but at least I'll know I've checked the shelves. Yeah, so the aliens, they eat data. They eat data. You know what, let me do this. I'll drink that, and then you can have that. And so they start eating the data, and because they eat the data, the military doesn't work, and Ice Cube and his family decide they need to hack a virus into the world's data, and then that way it will destroy the aliens. And when they try to do that, it doesn't work. And the aliens are too smart for that. And crap, I'm infected again. There goes the rest of my honey. And so his daughter is a biologist, and the NASA woman figures out that the aliens are actually cybernetic, and so they're part, part biological, part mechanical, and so they decide that what they've got to do then is they've got to take his daughter's. She's a biologist, and so they've got to take her genetic code she wrote that forces viruses to cannibalize themselves, and then use that to force the. Dang it! I want to keep that. Use that to force the alien aliens to cannibalize themselves, and so her hacker brother takes her DNA code. Improve assault rifle. That's improve vehicles. And he turns it into a computer virus, if that makes any sense. And then they use that to wipe out the aliens. They literally talk about how the aliens are eating data in this movie. They're eating the data. I don't know how that's possible, because that's not how data works at all. At all. Oh, dang it. I was just going to swap boots, but I've got my pocket mod on there. Oh, they don't stack. Well, you know what? You can just go then. Alright, I gotta go back to my base. So full of stuff. Can't pick up anything. So yeah, there's like, it's just terrible. It's just a terrible concept. There's a point in the movie where, like, the daughter is near a helicopter crash and she gets a piece of metal jammed through her leg, and she wants to pull the piece of metal out, and he's like, "Don't do it, you'll bleed to death." And then he takes her to I thought a field station, but nobody's there. And then she decides she can't take it anymore, so she pulls it out herself. So now she's bleeding all over the place. And so her Amazon driver boyfriend wraps her leg in packing tape. And then, even though she's been bleeding all over the place for like 15 minutes of this movie, after he packing tapes her leg, they don't mention that she took a wound to the leg ever again, and she's fine. The Ice Cube finds out his son is the hacker he's been looking for, and then he confronts his boss about what's going on, because they have a surveillance system called Goliath, and the boss says the surveillance system is air gapped, which I don't know how that's going to work. How do you pull in outside data if you're not connected to the outside? Air gapped means there are no data connections from the outside. How do you get surveillance data into a surveillance system if you can't connect to the outside? Are people hand delivering packets of data, like thumb drives and stuff, to this thing? No, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It can't be air gapped. It could have been on a separate secure network. That I could have believed. Those are words that make sense. But air gapped? It can't be air gapped. Yeah. So, so anyways, so they kicked him off the server and stuff, for his job, and, because he confronted his boss and was like, "I know what you've been doing." His boss is like, "Yeah, you're done." And so his son hacks him back into the DHS, and then they decide they're going to. The son's like, there's got to be some way that we can disrupt their access to the data. And Ice Cube was like, you mean a denial of service attack? That would never work. We've got to poison the food supply. We got to go after the data itself. And Sun goes, you mean like write a virus? Yeah, that's what we need. We need a rabbit virus. A rabbit virus. He was like, we should get working on that. And the Sun goes, the two of us could never write one. Ice Cube goes, yeah, let me contact some people. And the Sun goes, psh, your people are no good. Let me contact some people. So he calls up his hacker buddies, and then as soon as he talks to his hacker buddies, he's like, we'll use my dad's credentials to get into the system, and I'll write the rabbit virus. I'm like, dude, you just said the two of you couldn't write the rabbit virus. Now you suddenly can do it by yourself? What are you talking about? And then, I had buckshot on me. I think that just scraps into paper, too. So then, and then he's like, I'll need the rest of you to do, and then he starts handing them out jobs related to figuring out how to hack into the system. I'm like, you literally just said you were going to use your dad's credentials to get in. What do you mean now? You gotta hack in? You gotta hack into something you have credentials for? I don't understand. I don't understand. Whoever is writing this doesn't understand how any of this works. It's crazy. And I mean, let's face it. They also turned genetic modification into computer code to force the biological parts of a cybernetic entity to cannibalize itself. I can kind of not hate the concept that you could recode a cybernetic creature so that it would cause its own cells to attack itself. But it's the fact that they're taking the daughter's genetic experiment and then the hacker son is taking her genetic experiment to hack it into, or to write it into a virus. That doesn't make any sense. They don't work that way. I don't understand. I mean, I guess if I squint real hard, he's writing into their virus instructions for the machines to then somehow tell their biological parts to cannibalize themselves using her DNA sequence based off of human DNA on aliens that they've never had a DNA sample from to even know what their DNA looks like. Yeah. But yeah, it was bad. It was real bad. Yeah. I was trying to think. There was something else in there. Let's not forget. It was an Amazon Prime movie, and so because the server is air gapped, Ice Cube will have to deliver the virus manually to the server, and so what that means is he's going to have to put the virus onto a thumb drive. And unfortunately, thumb drives aren't allowed in the building, so he doesn't have one. And so he has to place an order on Amazon so that his Amazon delivery, his daughter's Amazon delivery boyfriend can whip out a Amazon air delivery drone and then fly through the aliens who are trying to shoot down the drone, the USB stick he has so that they can load the. Well, you know what? I think they loaded the virus onto the USB stick for him, so they're just going to fly the USB stick to him, and then he goes down into the server room, and the dude manages to fly the drone into the building, all the way through the building, down this 4 flights of stairs, into the server room area, through the server room, and to Ice Cube so that he can get the stick. Um, yeah, it's really bad. It's like Captain Planet levels of nonsense. Um, it's like it's that bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed some Captain Planet probably when I was a kid, but it's it's like the worst cartoon you can think of. Levels of bad. All right, with that, be around small things, leaving the light. I will talk to you later.